For most of modern history, shopping was relatively straightforward. A business made a product. A customer decided whether they needed it. The customer either bought it or walked away. But today, shopping feels very different. Stores are designed differently. Apps behave differently. Advertisements feel more personal. Pricing feels more emotional. And many consumers are starting to ask a strange question. Did companies quietly turn shopping into psychology? Because modern businesses no longer simply sell products, they increasingly study human behavior itself. And the more businesses learned about psychology, the more shopping changed. One of the biggest shifts happened when companies realized consumers do not always make rational decisions. People like to believe they shop logically: best price, best quality, best value. But businesses discovered emotions often matter far more than logic. Urgency, convenience, fear of missing out, status, comfort, excitement. All of these emotions heavily influence spending behavior. Once companies understood that, shopping became less about products and more about influencing decisions. That is why modern retail increasingly feels engineered. Stores carefully control lighting, music, scents, layouts, and product placement because businesses know environment shapes spending behavior. Grocery stores place essentials at the back so customers walk past more products. Retailers place impulse items near checkout lines because people make faster emotional decisions while waiting. Restaurants use menu design psychology to guide attention toward high-profit items. Even colors influence consumer behavior. Red creates urgency. Blue creates trust. Black often signals luxury. Businesses study these reactions constantly, and digital shopping made this even more powerful. Online platforms track behavior in enormous detail: what people click, how long they look at products, what they almost buy, what makes them leave, what triggers purchases. Companies use this information to optimize shopping experiences psychologically. That is why online stores increasingly feel personalized. Recommended products. Customers also bought limited time offers, countdown timers, low stock warnings, personalized discounts, all designed to influence behavior emotionally. Scarcity became one of the most powerful psychological tools in modern shopping. Businesses discovered people value products more when they believe access is limited. That is why limited edition, selling fast, and only a few left appear everywhere now. Sometimes scarcity is real, but often businesses intentionally create urgency because urgency reduces hesitation. Consumers make faster emotional decisions when they fear missing out. Social media accelerated this dramatically. People constantly see influencers, trends, viral products, and exclusive items online. Shopping became tied to identity, status, and emotional belonging. Businesses realized products no longer simply serve practical purposes. Products now help consumers express personality and social identity. That changed marketing completely. Companies increasingly sell feelings instead of functionality: confidence, success, productivity, comfort, exclusivity. Lifestyle itself became part of the product. Technology companies pushed this even further through algorithms. Modern apps constantly study what captures attention longest, what headlines trigger clicks, what products increase engagement, what emotions drive purchases. Artificial intelligence now helps businesses predict behavior at extraordinary levels. The more data companies collect, the more accurately they can shape shopping experiences around emotional patterns. That is why shopping online increasingly feels strangely personalized, because businesses are not simply guessing anymore. They are analyzing behavior constantly. Another major shift happened with frictionless spending. For years, businesses realized the easier spending feels, the more consumers buy. So companies started removing friction everywhere: one-click checkout, saved payment methods, automatic renewals, subscription systems, buy now, pay later plans, mobile wallets. The goal is making spending feel almost invisible, because the less time consumers spend thinking about purchases, the more likely emotional decisions happen automatically. Businesses understand this extremely well, and subscriptions became one of the clearest examples of psychological shopping design. A monthly payment feels smaller emotionally than a large upfront cost, even when consumers may spend more over time. Companies know smaller recurring payments reduce psychological resistance. That is why memberships and subscriptions spread across almost every industry. Retailers also discovered consumers respond strongly to progress systems, points, rewards, levels, exclusive perks. Loyalty programs increasingly function almost like game systems designed to encourage repeat behavior. People feel emotionally invested once they begin earning rewards. Leaving feels like losing progress. Businesses benefit enormously from that psychological attachment. And perhaps one of the biggest changes is personalization itself. In the past, businesses marketed broadly to everyone. Now companies increasingly tailor experiences to individuals. Different ads, different recommendations, different offers, sometimes even different prices. Because businesses know personalized experiences increase emotional engagement, the more personally relevant shopping feels, the more likely consumers are to spend. And there is another reason shopping became more psychological: competition. Modern consumers are overwhelmed with choices, thousands of products, millions of ads, infinite entertainment. Businesses realized simply offering good products was no longer enough. They needed emotional attention. That forced companies to study behavior more aggressively. Psychology became a competitive advantage. The businesses that understand human behavior best often gain the strongest customer loyalty, highest engagement, and most predictable profits. That is why companies increasingly hire behavioral scientists, data analysts, psychologists, and AI specialists alongside traditional marketers. Modern shopping is no longer only about products, it is about influence. At the same time, businesses argue these systems improve convenience and user experience. Personalized recommendations help consumers discover useful products faster. Loyalty systems reward repeat customers. Algorithms reduce search time. And to be fair, many consumers genuinely enjoy those benefits. But underneath the convenience is a much larger shift happening. Businesses are no longer simply reacting to customer behavior, they are actively shaping it. And consumers are starting to feel the effects. Impulse spending feels easier, shopping feels more emotional. Apps feel harder to leave, advertising feels more personal, and many people increasingly feel like companies understand their habits better than they understand themselves. Because modern businesses collect enormous amounts of behavioral data constantly. That data allows companies to continuously refine how shopping experiences influence decisions. And perhaps the biggest reason companies quietly turn shopping into psychology is this: modern corporations realize controlling attention and behavior can be more profitable than simply selling products. Because a customer emotionally engaged, habit-driven, and psychologically attached to a shopping ecosystem often spends far more over time than a purely rational buyer. That changes the entire relationship between businesses and consumers. Shopping is no longer just commerce, it became behavioral design. And that is exactly why modern shopping increasingly feels less like simple buying and more like a system carefully engineered to influence how people think, feel, and spend.